tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the top thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Dennis Guwor, and 21 other People's Democratic Party members on Tuesday defected to the All Progressive Congress. The defection of the 22 lawmakers was sequel to the significant shift in the state's political landscape, and the defection means that the assembly has been turned into a one-party legislature, as the remaining 7 members are from APC. Guwor, while announcing the defection on Tuesday during the resumption of plenary after the Easter break, said the decision was the result of extensive consultations with their constituents and political leaders across the state, and the move aligns with Section 109 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, stressing that the political shift towards APC was in response to the realignment of stakeholders and the desire to align with the federal government under President Bola Tinubu's leadership. Guwor also said the decision followed extensive consultations held on April 23, which culminated in the April 28 official reception at the Government House and the Cenotaph, respectively, adding that the defection was driven by instability within the PDP national leadership and divisions within the South-South Zonal Executive Committee, leading to internal conflicts and disunity. The Speaker affirmed the constitutional basis for the defection, citing Section 1091G of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, stressing that the Delta State House of Assembly is now composed entirely of members from the All Progressive Congress, and also appreciated members for their contributions so far, while urging them to ensure the completion of all pending bills as the second legislative sessions nears its end. Asims.
Yes.
What do you make of this story?
You see, what I make of this story is very straightforward. And what I will say is that for those who have been hammering on the fact, that the moment you cross carpet or in a house of assembly or the legislature, that you automatically lose your seat based on Section 109, sub 1G for House of Assembly, then Section 68 also, sub 1G also for House of Reps and House of Senate. But in this case, what we are discussing here is the State House of Assembly, which borders on Section 109, sub 1G and its proviso. If you look at it now, you find that before now, there was a precedent that was set in the Abegunde's case by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that the moment you leave, you have lost your seat, and that when you say your party, has issues, that you must prove that beyond reasonable doubt, and it means that your party can no longer function before you can, talk about defection. But even when that particular, pronouncement in the Abegunde case came, I, in my little, knowledge mind, was not swayed by that particular, judgment of the Supreme Court. I didn't poo-poo it either, but I had reservations. Reservations I had was in respect to Section 109.
Okay. Now,
if you look at Section 109, you will find that you have a 1G, look at what is there, is that he said that because of time, I'll go straight to Section 109G, being a person whose election to the House of Assembly was sponsored by a political party here, he becomes a member from that political party before the expiration of the period for which that assembly was elected, yes, provided that his membership of the latter party, that is the new party now, is not as a result of a division in the political party, not as a result of division in the political party, of which he was previously a member, or of a merger or two or more political parties or factions. I underline factions of all factions, by one of which he was previously sponsored. Does this particular extent of PDP be factionalized? Has it not been proven? You can see that PDP, There was a time they had two secretaries, Secretary General, Ayamu and the other guy.
Jokoye.
They've been battling each other in court. You have the Wike faction of PDP. You have the Atiku faction. You have Saraki faction. You now have the faction of Damagun. So is PDP not factionalized? And if PDP is factionalized, does it encompass or does it completely come under the the ambit of section 109 sub G, which I just read? That is all factions, by one of which or faction. I'm emphasizing the word factions underlined. You understand the point now? Does that factionalized PDP not give credence to why this poll move from PDP to APC? The court has to decide that if they go to court. Then you now find that a new vista was opened again when the Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom, when they were ruling on the cross appeal, by one of the petitioners there, when they were ruling on it, the Supreme Court on February 28th now opened a new visa, which now subsume the issue of the Abegunde whatever under it as one of the conditions that is precedent that you must have to fulfill before defection can be complete. If you do not do this, it then means that defection will be incoherent, that is incomplete. For instance, that once you defect, you can climb a mango tree and begin to shout that I'm no longer a PDP man, I'm an APC man, and you carry the flag and you used to do cutting in your house and even paint your car APC that you have defected. You even gather pressmen to come and listen to you that you have defected, but the Supreme Court is now saying that is not defection. That if you like, go on that jamboree, go to a beer parlor and defect and gather people there, like what happened in Asaba, where I think the vice president was there. Flags were raised and given to some members who defected, as the case may be. That is no longer defection. That defection is not complete until and unless the particular people who are defecting from PDP to APC will now go to the APC secretariat in Abuja or their ward, whatever, and go and register with APC that they defected to. Go to their ward and register and say, I am now an APC member. They now give him card number 002. He will now hold it and begin to wave it and say, this is I have registered and I have a card of APC. That if you don't do that, that you have not defected. So that is what the latest ruling of the Supreme Court or judgment of the Supreme Court on February 28th, has occasioned. So this is it's going to be a very interesting time, because I heard that the PDP said they are going to court, as the case may be. But you look at the problem I said, is that this goes to show you, like I have said before now, that the issue of vacation of seats of legislative members who are defecting from party A to party B does not lie alone with the speaker. That the speaker, can be ambivalent. The speaker can be subjective. The speaker has a discretion not to, say the seats have been vacated. Now, the discretion given to the speaker now is being used here. Like I said, when the River State problem started, I said, assuming the speaker defected with the 27 lawmakers, who is going to make the pronouncement? People came and said he's going to be like, I said no. But now the speaker and deputy speaker have defected. So under section 109, sub 1G, you can still open it and see the function of the speaker and see what the constitution say the speaker must do. So if the speaker have defected alongside other members, who is going to vacate the seat of those people now? That is the question the court has to answer. Let me quickly read the function of the speaker to people who have been saying that this is what is going to happen. I said the speaker has a role to play, and that role of the speaker right now is discretionary. It's not automatic. So the speaker can even keep mute like a sheep and be looking at what is going on and say, I don't care. You understand the point? That is what happened in Delta State now. He said, if you look at it, he said, that is the Speaker of the House of Assembly receives a certificate under the hand. No, that is the go down. He said, the Speaker of the House of Assembly shall give effect to subsection 1 of this section So, however, that the Speaker or a member shall first present evidence satisfactory to the House that any of the provisions of that subsection has become applicable in respect of the member that has defected. So, the Speaker must be aware. If you want to even vacate the seat of those people, the Speaker has to be told, and you give satisfactory, reasons and evidence to show that those people has, defected. So, one of the satisfactory evidences expected to be given in this new case now is that the defecting members of the House of Assembly of Rivers State, of Delta State, we have to bring their APC card to show first of all. Now, when you do that, the remaining member can now raise, to the Speaker who has also defected. Is he going to vacate the seat that he is occupying and the other members who defected? So it's not subjective. So it's no longer automatic. So this is the argument. This is where I think the court will come in. It's mischief. It's a kind of mischief. I think maybe the court will come in and rectify that. And that is why I'm so interested that if this matter goes to court and let the court decide on it, assuming that the Speaker, like in this case, I was envisaging a situation like this last year, and I was saying that assuming the Speaker of Rivers State as at that time defected with these people, who would have declared their seat vacant? Was it the governor or was it the PDP that would have come to say their seats have been declared vacant? No, it's the Speaker. So if the Speaker in this case now has defected alongside, what now happens? As is section 109 still automatic? I don't know. So these are things maybe the Supreme Court or any other court will solve for us. It's going to be very interesting time as the case may be. So, but for me, I believe interesting times. And people will now begin to, defect from one party to the other. Don't be surprised tomorrow they go to Labour Party. Nothing is going to happen.
But then you spoke about the faction, but it also talked about the party having leadership crisis. In that section 1091G, it talked about leadership crisis within the party. Now, you cannot take away the fact that at the zonal level, South-South, that there is crisis. At the zonal level of PDP. At the national level, there is crisis. At the national level of the PDP. But then, one would say this has to do with the state. So probably they should be looking at the state, because when the defection, the televised defection in Rivers State happened, that argument was ongoing. Because, the lawmakers were saying, that there is crisis at the national level. And, arguments came forth that you're not in the National Assembly. This is a state house of assembly. So you should be talking about crisis at the state level, not at the national level. So I need clarification on that. Delta State is, basing their defection on the crisis at the national level of PDP and crisis at the zonal level of PDP. But so far, to the best of our knowledge, Delta State PDP is not having crisis, leadership crisis as it were. And the Speaker did not quote that part of their reason for defection is crisis in Delta State PDP. So he quoted only national and zonal. What do you make of that?
Well, I follow the Constitution, and thank God I have a copy here today. I do not want to look at, a lot of Nigerians look at the law not to be what it is, but what ought to be. That is where people are making a lot of mistakes, in their interpretations of some of these codes. Now, let me read it verbatim. Provided that his membership of the latter party is not as a result of a division in the political party. In the political party. He didn't say Abuja faction or be the Port Harcourt faction. In the political party, of which he was previously a member, or a merger of two or more political parties or faction by one of which he was previously sponsored. So I didn't see any distinction or differentiation or distillation of a party, say it must be national or it must be maybe a state, as the case may be. Now it talks about the party. So if there is division in the national, it even helps more than the regional. Now, why am I saying that? In the Abegude case, even though the Supreme Court overruled themselves, in the Abegude case was not even on the national platter. It was on the local Ondo State House of Assembly platter in the Southwest. You understand? The Supreme Court now said in that case that the Ondo State chapter is a branch of the national body of PDP in is it Labour Party? The party he belonged to that time was Labour Party also. There is a branch of the national in Abuja there. That because there's crisis in the region here does not mean that there's crisis in the national.
Okay.
So emphasis was laid on the national. So that because there was, crisis in the regional party here does not mean that there was crisis in the national. They went further, or not even went further in that case to say, assuming that a particular bank, a popular bank, has crisis, fire gutted a branch of their bank in Abaro, the Port Harcourt. Does that mean that the bank will not function nationally again? And the answer was that no, the bank will still function, though, because it's just a part of it. But where the headquarters has problem, it is spilled down to other branches of the party in Nigeria. So if you allege national, it's even all encompassing. It will give you more verve that we are not even saying my state, but it's national as the case may be. Now, the national can have problem. The state can also have splinter groups. The two can occasion at the same time, as the case may be. Rivers said it did happen. The state had issues, the national had issues as at that time. I just say that as the case may be. So when you see, in fact, before a member even threatens to leave a party, it means that there's an intra-party crisis. It means that some of them are not comfortable. There are cracks in the political party that they are defecting from to the next one. So that argument in my own instance, as is stated here, does not specify whether it's regional or whatever, but we can break it down until the national has is the umbrella holding that of the regional. So, but it will be better if you have national than having a regional. So a particular state like Delta, I think they relied on the national for them to now say national party has issues, and it's left to them, because like the subsection says in 109, it says that whoever that is bringing the information to the speaker must present evidence satisfactory to the house. Evidence satisfactory to the house. So you can even bring evidence to the speaker of the House of Reps, or the House of Assembly, for instance, now, and the speaker says, no, these people are my good friend, I don't believe in this evidence. He will not declare their seat vacant. So that is what this particular thing is. So these areas, there are so many mischiefs and landmines that anybody wanting to defect can move. And also you find out that even the PDP are trying to go to court. These people have just 2 years to remain in power. At the end of the day, before the matter gets to Supreme Court, I'm sure it will be election time. Even the man that filed the election will be running after his head to get his seat back. They will abandon the cases and whatever. So it's a very funny something in Nigeria, political ecosystem. It's like that of the Serengeti. Survival of the fittest, is where, people draw strength from in Nigeria political ecosystem. It's like a parallelogram. If you look at it from one angle, it's like a rectangle. If you look at what you build, it's like a square, whatever. So that is the situation we find ourselves.
Tough challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about